Hello, my name is Michael Byrne, and this is my fantastic fellow and co-author, Daljeet Chahal. We work in the Gastroenterology Division at Vancouver General Hospital and the University of British Columbia. And we'd like to thank Mike Wallace and the team at GIE for this invitation to the author interview series, where we will be talking about our paper, A Primer on Artificial Intelligence and its Application to Endoscopy. It's really quite notable that there is a special edition of GIE dedicated to AI in endoscopy for the fall of this year, reflecting the huge increase in AI and its application to medicine and gastroenterology.
We believe AI is an exciting new technology that will be applied to many different aspects of endoscopy. However, it is important for readers to understand terminology prevalent in the literature. In our article, we introduce various terms such as deep learning and neural networks. For example, neural networks are complex layers of algorithms that work together to make predictions. We also discuss the gold standard in AI. What is it? Who defines it? How are data labeled? We then talk about the different types of data sets and how they are applied in the development cycle. Lastly, we discuss some of the limitations of AI, such as overfitting and selection bias. Again, it's important for readers to understand this terminology in order to critically appraise the literature.
As most readers of GIE will know, there are many current and potential applications of AI to the world of endoscopy. Much of the work started in the field of colon polyps, and over the last few years there have been several groups developing CAD-E and CAD-X, or computer-aided detection and diagnosis tools for colon polyps and colon screening. Again, it's important to understand the new lexicon in studies, such as these, so that we can adequately compare the performance of different AI tools. Otherwise, it can be like comparing apples and oranges. Beyond polyps, AI can be used to assess invasion and behavior of precancerous and cancerous lesions prior to ESD. AI may also be used to assess IBD activity and determine disease severity using the Mayo score or the UCEIS, possibly outperforming human readers. This, of course, will have huge implications for clinical research and central reading, but also for our day-to-day work in the care of patients.
AI is being applied to many aspects of the upper GI tract as well. There are several groups that have studied AI to better detect and assess Barrett's esophagus, and in many of these instances, these have outperformed human readers. AI is also being used to characterize esophageal and gastric malignancies and even assess how deep some of these malignant lesions have invaded. AI is also being used now for gastric cancer screening and has demonstrated potential to reduce the number of blind spots encountered by the endoscopist. AI is being applied to capsule endoscopy. The work in capsule endoscopy is exciting, showing promise in detecting multiple different types of lesions throughout the GI tract simultaneously.
So where are we at right now, you may ask? There has been a lot of hype surrounding AI in the medical world for the last few years, but in 2020, we can confidently say that these technologies are quickly moving towards the clinic. Several CAD-E solutions have already received regulatory approval in Europe, and most of these tools will initially be introduced as clinical decision support tools rather than standalone diagnostic tools. Introduction of tools in this manner will be important to gain physician and patient acceptance and comfort. Slow introduction will also aid in ensuring clinical safety. Beyond this, we will have to think about how these tools will be integrated into daily clinical workflow. For example, these tools may also need further development so that they can assess quality measures such as cecal intubation rates, withdrawal times, and bowel preparation scores. Lastly, we will have to think about how these tools will be used for automatic generation of endoscopy reports.
With application of this technology nearly at hand, there are important regulatory and ethical concerns to be considered. For example, how will hospital and patient data be protected? Will patients willingly consent for the use of their endoscopic data to be used for the development of AI technologies? And going beyond this, where will the data actually be stored? Locally by hospitals or off-site on the cloud? Who will own those data and those facilities? All of these questions should be carefully addressed as we actively implement AI into daily clinical use.
It is really very hard to give an overview of AI in endoscopy in just a few minutes, but it is clear that AI is here, and I believe it's here to stay. We must start somewhere to move forward with adoption. I believe strongly that AI will improve patient care, healthcare efficiency, and day-to-day performance. There are certainly hurdles to overcome, but AI is a very exciting space and will lead to a new paradigm in endoscopy. Thank you very much, and we hope you enjoy our article.